Our anime begins with our hero, Takumi, who suddenly finds himself moving fast in a strange place. He has no idea where he is or what he is doing there. All he remembers is a strange light. When he opens his eyes, he sees a witch named Nolan standing in front of him, apologizing. She tells him he was transferred to this world by mistake. 3 heroes were summoned to go to the Sidonia Empire, and he got pulled in with them by accident. Takumi looks around, sees no one else, and asks her to send him back to his world. Nolan tells him she cannot do that, especially since he does not even have a physical body anymore. Takumi looks at himself and realizes he is just a ball of energy, which makes him very angry. To make up for the mistake, Nolan offers to transfer him to another fantasy world and give him much stronger magic skills than normal people. A screen appears in front of Takumi to choose the skills he wants in the new world. After Nolan explains all the listed skills, Takumi chooses magic production skills. Nolan gives him the skills he asked for and transports him to another world. Takumi arrives there and goes to check his reflection in the water. He opens his stats screen to see his new skills and stands there testing all the types of magic he has. After walking in the forest for a little bit, he finds a tree trunk. A panel appears above it, explaining what this type of wood is used for. Takumi uses his magic on the trunk to craft a spear, so he can gather herbs. He looks next to him and finds many herbs, so he gathers a large amount of them and stores them all in his bag using his magic. Suddenly, a little girl runs up and hides behind him. She is running away from a huge, scary-looking rabbit. Takumi grabs his spear, and as soon as the rabbit jumps to attack them, Takumi stabs it out of fear and kills it in one single hit. He turns around to check on the little girl and learns she is from Bordi village. He decides to go with her to her village, using his magic to carry the rabbit he just killed. At the exact same time, over in the Sidonia Empire, 3 school students have just arrived. They are the 3 heroes. A strange-looking girl appears and tells them they were summoned here to use their power to save the world. She introduces herself as Elizabeth, the Queen of the Empire. The 3 heroes have absolutely no idea what is going on. When Takumi reaches the village, the girl's family thanks him for saving her. Her father introduces himself as Banaga, a hunter. Takumi asks them if he can live in the village for a while, until he explores the world they are in. They tell him the village has a mine and plenty of valley herbs. All the villagers welcome him and decide to build a house for him to live in. Takumi uses his magic to level the piece of land in front of him so they can build on it, but he runs completely out of mana. The rest of the villagers take over the task and finish building his house. The house is finally built and looks beautiful. Takumi even makes his own furniture using his skills. He opens his stat screen and decides to change his job from warrior to alchemist. He gathers some raw silver, iron, and copper. He uses his magic on the iron and successfully turns it into an ingot. He keeps doing this with all his metals all day long. He is incredibly happy because it was his dream to be an alchemist since he was a little kid. He keeps working until the little girl he saved comes over to check on him. When she opens the door, she finds he has fainted from exhaustion. All the villagers come to check on him, and the girl's mother gives him a magic potion to help him get his energy back. Takumi continues making metal ingots and crafts many tools from them. He then goes to the town's blacksmith to make a new spear. Together, they forge a very strong spear, and Takumi's blacksmithing level goes up to level 40. After that, Takumi goes to ask Banaga for some magic potions. He asks him for a few so he can try making his own magic potions using the herbs he gathers. Takumi starts mixing the herbs together, but his first attempt to copy Banaga's potion fails. He decides to go to the forest to look for more herbs. He finds a plant and eats it. But suddenly, he starts choking. He quickly uses his healing magic and activates his poison resistance skill. Just as he is about to get up and go make more potions, a huge monster attacks him. Takumi grabs his spear and tries to hit the monster, but the beast breaks the spear and throws him far away. Takumi tries to use magic on the monster, but it fails and does no damage at all. Suddenly, he looks behind him and sees a giant spider trying to attack as well, but instead of attacking Takumi, the spider attacks the giant monster. The monster manages to hit the spider and then charges right at Takumi. Takumi quickly jumps into the air, gathers all his strength, strikes the monster on the head and manages to kill it. He then goes over to the spider to check on it and uses his magic to heal all its wounds. Suddenly, a notification pops up on his stats screen saying that if he wants to tame the spider, he can do it now. Takumi decides to tame it and names it Maple. He takes the monster he killed and heads back to the village. Everyone is shocked by Takumi's strength and the fact that he defeated such a monster all by himself. They are even more surprised when they see the spider on his back, because no one is supposed to be able to tame forest monsters. The villagers throw a big feast and eat the monster Takumi killed. Takumi keeps the monster's horns, skin, and fangs. Banaga tells him that if he goes to Bolton City, he can sell them and make a lot of money. The village children play with the spider, Maple, and all the villagers are really happy to have Takumi living with them. One day, Takumi wakes up and finds that Maple has covered the entire room, including him, with her webs. He scolds her for what she did, But then he realizes she did it because she feels lonely, and he hasn't been playing with her. Takumi remembers that he spent the whole past period just making potions and ingots. He decides to take the day off and play with her, which makes Maple very happy. A girl from the village comes in to bring them lunch and is surprised when she sees the room covered in webs. These are spider silk threads, which are very rare. She and the other girls in the village use them to make clothes. Everyone is happy with Maple and her threads. Takumi learns that clothes made of spider silk are bought by nobles and rich people in the city. The girl asks Maple to make threads with less elasticity. Takumi tells her Maple won't be able to communicate with them, but he is shocked when he sees her actually producing the threads exactly as requested. Takumi asks Maple if they didn't agree to play together today. She tells him she is busy right now. Takumi leaves her, feeling happy for her. He says to himself that he has been in the village for about a month and wants to go to the city to study alchemy more deeply, but everyone in the village will surely be sad to see him go. He goes to the village blacksmith, who has made him a custom-fitting armor. The blacksmith tells him that he only needs to strengthen the front of the boots so he can use the kicking skill. Banaga comes in and asks Takumi if he is really leaving the village now. He says that even though he will be sad and will miss him, it is the right thing to do. If he goes to the city, there will be many requests for his products and more resources. The blacksmith tells him that next week, merchants from Bolton City will come to the village, and they have arranged everything for him to ride in their carriage and travel. Takumi thanks them very much for their help. Takumi leaves the workshop and sees a girl holding a wooden bowl with a piece of rabbit meat. He realizes this part of the meat is poisonous and no one can eat it. Takumi uses light magic on the meat and purifies it from the poison. The girl is surprised when she finds out he can use light magic. She tells him it is a very rare magic, and only a few people can use it. She advises him not to let anyone know he uses light magic, because people in the city might try to harm him. Takumi thanks her, and spends his remaining week in the village trying to fix all its problems using his magic. He builds a huge wall to protect them from any danger. The week passes, and the merchant Banaga talked about arrives. His name is Babik. Takumi prepares all his things and goes to greet Babik and introduce himself. He stands to say goodbye to Banaga and tells him he made 100 magic potions like this one and left them in his house, and if any problem happens in the village, he should use them to heal people. When Babik sees the potion, he is very surprised. He takes it to examine it, keeps it with him, and tells Takumi he will wait for him in the carriage while he says goodbye to all the villagers. Takumi takes Maple with him and stands to say goodbye to everyone. A woman comes and gives him a special cloak, telling him they made it as a thank you for everything he did for the village. Takumi thanks them very much, gets into the carriage with Babik, and leaves the place. On their way to the city, Takumi gets to know the people in the carriage with him. They are Heath, Ryle, and Bogar. Babik tells him they are a group of rank C adventurers called Lion's Fang, and they are his personal guards. Babik tells Takumi he wants to ask him something regarding the potions he made in the village, and if he has any stock left, he will buy it all from him. Takumi agrees, and says once they reach the city, he will give him many potions. Suddenly, the carriage stops, and goblin monsters appear and start attacking. The 3 guards get out and kill all the monsters. They continue their journey for 3 days until they finally reach Bolton City. Takumi goes to the Adventurers Guild with the 3 guards to report that Babik's escort mission was successful. Takumi registers himself and Maple at the guild so they can live in the city. Unfortunately, he doesn't find an alchemist guild, so he decides to register at the Adventurers Guild and get a membership. To keep his membership, he has to do at least 1 quest per month. After that, he goes to meet Babik and shows him all the potions he made so he can buy them. Babik is very happy and offers him a check for 7 million for the potions. Takumi is very surprised by the huge amount of money. Babik tells him he knows it is a bit low, but he will try to show them to the people first, and then he might offer him a higher price. Takumi is surprised by his treatment and thinks to himself, does he want something else from me? Babik tells him that for his accommodation in the city, it is better to live in a house with a workshop. He rings a bell, and his assistant comes. He tells him to take Ohumi to his new house. Takumi goes to the house and is surprised by its huge size. He thinks to himself he can make potions in the workshop next to the house, and he will be able to save on rent and living costs. Takumi walks with Babik's assistant in the city and smells a strange odor. The assistant tells him this smell is because of the city's sewers, as cleaning them is very expensive. The next day, Takumi goes to his house and decides to make a toilet for people to use. He uses his magic to craft and install it in his bathroom. When Babik comes to visit Takumi, he is very surprised to see a toilet in the bathroom, and it even has a water filter to clean it. Babik asks him if he can use light magic. Takumi remembers the village girl's words and feels he is in trouble. He tells him to please keep this a secret between them. Babik asks him to please make 100 more of this. Takumi is surprised by this huge amount. Babik tells him he knows he won't be able to make them alone, so it is better for him to hire a slave. But he also must try to keep his use of light magic a secret, because if the nobles find out, they will exploit him for their own benefit. Takumi says then it is better not to produce this large amount of toilets. Bobik replies, they just won't let people know who made these items. Bobik takes him to a company to look for a slave he can hire. He leaves him and goes to the manager of the place. Takumi walks around the area and sees very beautiful flowers and trees. Suddenly, a girl appears in front of him and tells him to go back to his house now. This place is not suitable for a child like you. Takumi leaves her and goes with Bobik to hire a slave. They sit with the manager of the company, and Takumi tells her that buying slaves was forbidden in his hometown. She tells him not to worry because in this city all slave rights are protected. She begins to explain that he must protect his slaves' rights and provide them with food, drink, and clothing, and it is strictly forbidden to cause them any harm. She explains the available types of slaves. Bobik tells her he wants a prisoner of war, because every month he has to complete a quest for the Adventurers Guild, so he needs someone to help him and handle these matters. He explains the rest of the things he needs, so she tells him he actually needs two, not just one. The first one comes in, and her name is Maria. The manager tells him that her family died when she was young, and bandits brought her here, and she will be able to take care of his large mansion. Takumi is very happy as soon as he sees her, and he feels she can truly help him and relieve him of his house troubles. The manager says they have an agreement on Maria. As for the second slave, unfortunately, there are no other prisoners of war left. Just as she is about to finish her sentence, Maria interrupts and asks if Sophia is still there. The manager tells her it is none of her business and orders her to go back to her room and pack her things. She tells Takumi that Sophia is indeed here, but she has many problems, so he should come back in 2 weeks and they will have another slave ready for him. Takumi asks her if he can go see Sophia, as he is very curious to meet her. As soon as he enters the room, he finds she is the exact same girl who met him earlier and told him to run away from here. He learns from the manager that she is a prisoner of war from 50 years ago, and she has never made a contract with anyone because she has mobility issues with her left arm and leg. Also, someone cast a curse on her, which makes no one want her. Takumi asks the manager to speak with her alone. When he gets closer to her, her stats screen appears, and he discovers that her combat skills are incredibly strong. He thinks to himself that if he can remove the curse on her, she will be one of the strongest warriors in the world. He tells the manager he agrees and will make the contract with her. Sophia tells him she will never be able to fight, but Takumi tells her not to worry, as he has a solution for all her problems. Takumi, Sophia, and Maria go with the manager to make their contract. The manager uses her magic to forge the contract between them so that no problems happen in the future. As soon as they return home, Maple welcomes them and hits Takumi in the face. Takumi shows them to their rooms. While Maria and Sophia are resting, Maria says she feels Takumi is a very kind person. Sophia replies that this is what seems true from his words, but she saw the contract that was made between them, and all his data was hidden, so he is definitely hiding something from them. After that, they all go to eat. Takumi is the one who cooked the food, and he tells them to come and all eat together. Sophia tells him they cannot sit and eat with him at the same table. Takumi tells her no, do not worry, and to forget everything they knew about the life of slaves before. The next day, Takumi goes to meet Bobik, and Bobik gives him the items Takumi had requested from him earlier. On the other side, in the Sidonia Empire, a man is sitting on his throne. He asks 2 of his assistants about the current news of the 3 heroes. One of them tells him that the 3 are currently completing their training. At first, they were a bit hesitant, but Elizabeth tried to convince them until they agreed to help them. When Takumi returns to his mansion, he trips while entering the house because of Maple. The box he got from Bobik and all the tools he had with him fall down. Sophia comes to help him and pick up the items, but Takumi quickly uses his magic and hides the box he took. He tells Sophia and Maria to have lunch without him, as he will stay in the workshop for a while, because there are things he needs to finish. Sophia is very surprised and says the box he had was wrapped with a magic scroll, wondering what he is hiding. She sneaks into his workshop to see what Takumi is doing. She finds him holding a knife covered with magic potions, cutting himself with it, and then using healing magic to heal himself. Sophia quickly rushes into the room, pushes him to the ground, and asks him if he is planning to kill any of them. Suddenly, a screen appears in front of Sophia, and she faints. Takumi heals her with his magic and takes her to her room. He learns from Maria that when Sophia gets stressed and moves too fast, she immediately faints, and this is because of the curse on her. Takumi uses light magic on Sophia, and he actually manages to remove the curse from her. When Sophia wakes up, she feels something strange has happened to her. Maria tells her that Master Takumi is the one who brought her here, and he also used his magic and cured the curse on her. Sophia goes out to talk to Takumi. He explains to her what he was doing in the workshop, and that he does not intend to cause them any harm at all. He also explains how he managed to remove the curse from her. Sophia thanks him very much, apologizes for what she did, and promises him that from now on, she will defend him and serve him with all her might. The next day, Takumi goes to the library to look for books to learn alchemy from. In the whole library, he only finds 4 books. He is very surprised because the library is full of books. He learns that this is because the books are written in an ancient language, and no one here in the city can understand it. However, since he was transferred to this world, he is able to understand the written words. After that, he goes to his mansion and sits down to eat with Maria, Sophia, and Maple. Then they start producing the amount of toilets that Babik requested. While they are working, Takumi tells them that after finishing the required amount, he will take a break from production. He wants to go on a journey around the city to look for new resources and places. He will take Sophia as a personal guard, and Maple will come with them too. As for Maria, she will stay here in the mansion to take care of it. But Maria gets very sad and asks him to let her come with them because she doesn't want to be alone in the mansion. Takumi thinks that if he leaves Maria alone, she might face a problem, but she could also be a burden if they get attacked. However, Maria begs him to agree to take her along. Takumi checks her stat screen and finds that her power level is good enough. Sophia also tells him she wants Maria to come with them, and she will teach her how to fight and use magic. Takumi agrees and takes them to the workshop. He tells them he will make weapons for them to use on their journey. Sophia asks him for a sword, a spear, a bow, and many different weapons. She suggests that Maria should take 2 short swords and a spear. Takumi actually starts using the ingots he made and begins crafting the requested weapons. Maria starts training with Sophia on how to fight in the mansion. Takumi finishes the weapons and casts a magic spell on them to increase their power. He then sits down to plan the armor he will make for them. After a few days, he crafts their armor, shows them the weapons he made, and gives them rings he created to help them cast magic. The 3 of them head to the Adventurers Guild to register Maria and Sophia before they go on their journey. Takumi decides to register all 3 of them as one team. He goes to choose one of the available quests. While they are standing there, some guys from the guild come and bully them. Takumi stands in front of them and talks back. When one of them tries to hit him, Takumi uses his magic, and the hit hurts the other guy instead. The guild master comes and stops the problem. He is surprised to see the bully lying on the ground with a broken arm. The receptionist comes and tells the master what happened, explaining that Takumi didn't attack him or do anything. The master tells Takumi, "Come with me, all 3 of you." The master sits with Takumi, Sophia, and Maria. He asks Takumi to tell him exactly what happened. The receptionist says there were traces of mana usage, which means Takumi used magic. Takumi is very surprised and thinks this receptionist must have a very high magic level, since he could sense what he did. Takumi tells them that is not exactly what happened. He used alchemy to turn some coal he had into diamond and covered himself with it. The receptionist tells the master that he feels their level is very high and suggests promoting them to rank D. The master agrees and offers them 3 quests. If they complete them, they will be immediately promoted to rank D. Takumi and his team set off to complete the required quests. Sophia runs and kills the goblins in the area, while Takumi, Maria, and Maple kill the rest of them. Takumi is very surprised by the number of goblins in the area. Sophia tells him there's a goblin camp nearby, and their leader is there. Takumi is surprised and asks her about this leader. Sophia explains that it is a goblin monster, but it is very strong and is a rank C monster. To destroy the camp, they would need more than 5 teams like theirs. However, if he, and Maria use their magic and start launching a gradual attack on them, they can kill them all without needing any help. Maria gets very excited, but Takumi is worried. He looks at Maple and she tells him she is going to evolve now. Takumi uses his magic, opens a portal, and moves her inside so she can rest. Takumi heads with Sophia and Maria towards the goblin camp. They find out there are about 300 goblins, and there are no humans nearby in the area. They all use magic through the rings they are wearing and attack the whole camp, spreading fire everywhere. From behind the rubble, the goblin leader and his assistants appear and attack the 3 of them. Takumi uses his magic, and they manage to kill them, completely destroying the goblin camp. The 3 of them return to the Adventurers Guild, feeling tired and exhausted. The receptionist is surprised that they managed to complete the 3 requested quests in just half a day, and that they also managed to kill a whole goblin camp. He takes them to the guild master. Just as he is about to talk to them to understand what happened, Maple comes out of the magic portal, having evolved into the shape of a girl, but still with spider legs. The receptionist tells them he will give them their rewards and they will all be promoted in rank. The next day, Babik goes to meet Takumi and informs him that the ruler of Bolton City, whose name is Marquis, wants to meet him. This is because of the toilets he was making. Takumi actually goes to meet the ruler Marquis, who thanks him for the toilets he made. They helped keep the city very clean and stopped many diseases from spreading. The ruler stands up, thanks him, and says he also heard he destroyed a goblin camp on his own, so they are all very grateful to him. He tells him he wants him to protect his life as much as possible because they in the kingdom never want to lose him, and he must never lower his guard, especially when the city of Sidonia starts targeting him to kill him. The next day, Takumi shows Maria, Sophia, and Maple the refrigerator he made with his magic. Maria is very happy because now she can keep the food fresh for a long time. Takumi tells them he is planning to go to Babik today to ask him about things that could help upgrade their equipment after the battle with the goblins. But before that, he decides to go to the Adventurers Guild to ask about a blacksmith who can work with metals like mithril and adamantite, because they are very strong metals, and if he crafts his weapons with them, their power will be huge. There, he meets a receptionist named Hans, who tells Takumi that he can forge these metals himself using his magic, or he can take a quest to get them from a mine in the city of Horus, northwest of their location. However, he tells him that entering this mine requires a membership in the Blacksmith's Guild, but there is a loophole that can let him go there, which is taking a quest inside the mine itself to kill the monsters in it. This way, he can enter normally as a part of the Adventurers Guild. The Guildmaster comes in and tells them that Bolton City needs the wood of giant trees called treant, because there's a huge shortage of it, and Takumi can gather it on his way. He also tells them there's another quest, which is escorting a blacksmith who needs to reach Horus. While they are standing, one of the Lion's Fang team members comes in. He is one of the three who were guarding Babik, and his name is Ryle. He had left his team and returned to the guild because they managed to hunt a huge monster, and it would spoil if they took it with them. He tells the master that monsters have increased a lot lately, and he does not know the reason behind this. He says he will leave the city again tomorrow morning to return to his friends. Takumi offers him to sleep at his place for the night, and Ryle agrees and goes with him. After that, Takumi goes with Ryle to Babik to agree on the journey's supplies. Babik agrees to give him a carriage and horses to use for travel, in exchange for Takumi giving him a portion of the metals he will bring from the mine, plus a few extra refrigerators. At the same time, Sophia is sitting at home, worried about Takumi because he is late. She says she wishes she had gone with him and not left him alone. At night, on their way back, Takumi and Ryle meet someone who looks hostile. Ryle tries to grab Takumi and run away quickly, but this person attacks them. It turns out to be Sophia. Just as she is about to attack Ryle, Takumi stands in front of her and explains the situation, and they all go home there. Ryle is surprised to see how much Maple has grown. Takumi, Maria, Maple and Sophia sit together and decide that they will all travel to Horus in a few days. The next day, Ryle leaves them and travels to catch up with his friends. Takumi then starts preparing extra weapons and equipment specifically for this journey, using his magic. 3 days later, Takumi, Maria, and Sophia make their move. Babik introduces them to Dujambo, the city's blacksmith. They ride with him in the carriage, and Maria is the one driving the horses. At the same time, the guildmaster is sitting with Hans, and they receive a notification that the monsters in the Forest of Death have increased significantly. This is the same forest that Takumi and his group are traveling through. Meanwhile, Babik is sitting with an advisor from the palace who asks him about the toilets Takumi made. The advisor informs him that the Sidonia Empire has learned about this technology and is starting to show interest in it. The scene then shifts to the Sidonia Empire, months after the current time. Both Akira and Yamato are still training hard and have become much stronger fighters. Akane is watching Elizabeth closely, looking annoyed and suspicious of her. We go back to Takumi and his group as they enter the forest to hunt treant trees. They leave the blacksmith Dojambo in the carriage, and Takumi casts a protection spell on the area so nothing happens to him. They all enter the forest looking for treant trees. These are giant trees that can hide themselves among other trees and attack using their roots that come out from under the ground. Suddenly, while they are walking, one of the trees attacks them. Takumi and his group block the attack, and Takumi manages to cut the tree down. He looks around and finds that many trees are surrounding them in the area. They all use their magic and attack the trees. They face a treant tree that is much bigger and stronger than the rest. They barely manage to defeat it after cutting its roots with magic and weapons. They learn that these trees have a very rare fruit called the Apple of Wishes, which restores the owner's magical energy when eaten. They succeed in gathering a good amount of treant wood and these apples, and then they safely reach the city of Horus. They go to the Adventurers Guild branch there, and Dujambo shows them the quest they must take to enter the mine. They all enter together. Inside the mine, Takumi successfully finds the mithril and adamantite metals he was looking for. Suddenly, Maple says that something is coming. It turns out to be a giant iron mole monster. Takumi uses light magic to blind its eyes and asks Sophia to finish it off. At the same time, Maria feels that she is useless in the mine and feels like a burden to them. Takumi calms her down and reassures her. They continue gathering resources and return the next day to Dujambo's workshop. Takumi learns the basics of blacksmithing from him, which he will need to craft the armor he wants. After returning home, Takumi successfully crafts all the weapons and armor he wants using mithril and adamantite. He then discovers that he is also able to create magic stones. He gives Sophia and Maria a stone that suits their magic type, and he takes a lightning magic stone for himself so he can run very fast and cast his magic faster. He gives Maria and Sophia 2 spears, a fire one and a wind one. Both of them are very happy with the quality of their new weapons. Sophia asks Takumi to make her a shield because she wants to protect him with all her strength, and this shield will help her a lot if they face any problem. Takumi tells her he is happy with her words, but he wants her to protect her own life first, which makes Sophia blush at his words. At the same time, Nolan is watching everything that is happening. Suddenly, she sees something strange. A blood-stained sword and 2 very fierce-looking adventurers. After a year passes in the Sidonia Empire, it turns out that these 2 adventurers are Akira and Yamato. They look completely different and have become much more evil than before. It is revealed that they were sent on a peace mission to the Samander Kingdom. We go back again to Takumi in his mansion. Sophia is standing and watching him as he exhausts himself to make her the shield. She feels guilty because she is the one who asked him for it, and she wishes he had someone to help him. In the Sidonia Empire, the news of the magical purification device, which is the toilet that Takumi made, reaches the Castle of Light there. They send a representative to the Barcola Kingdom, threatening the king that he must hand Takumi over. He claims that this light magic belongs to the leader of the Barcola Kingdom, whose name is Anat, and no one else is supposed to use it. However, the king of Barcola receives this threat with laughter and replies that he will not hand anyone over. He tells them if they want to withdraw all their followers from his kingdom, they are free to leave whenever they want and no one will stop them. Takumi learns about what happened from Babik, who reassures him that there is no need to worry. Takumi asks him who exactly Anat is. Babik explains that the Castle of Light exploits people and takes the power of light magic from them, claiming that it helps them. But the people of the Barcola Kingdom do not follow this castle and do not care about them. Here, we actually help people even if we have no personal interest behind it. Takumi thinks to himself that it is better not to get involved in their fight, but Babik interrupts his thoughts and tells him that the king himself ordered an official meeting between him and a noble named Marquis Godwin, and that Takumi is invited to attend with them in the royal capital. At night, Takumi goes to Maria and Sophia and tells them what happened. He decides to take them with him on this journey, and Maple also agrees to come along. Takumi tells them they will move out in a week, and he will make new cloaks for them with an invisibility spell, so they can hide on the way. Takumi goes to the workshop to start sewing and preparing the materials for the cloaks. At the same time, Maria and Sophia take a day off, go for a walk, shop in the city markets, and buy all the supplies they will need. Meanwhile, Takumi leaves the workshop and goes to visit Nolan again in the place he goes to every time. He asks her who Anat is. She tells him not to worry, he will know at the right time. Takumi explains that the Sidonia Empire has gotten closer to him than before and is threatening him. Nolan clarifies that the real reason behind all this is that he was transferred to this world by mistake, and the ones who transferred him by mistake are the people in the Sidonia Empire. Takumi takes the opportunity and asks her about the 3 heroes who were supposed to be transferred with him. Nolan confesses that she actually sent him a whole year back in time when she transferred him, and that the summoning of the heroes itself will take several more months to actually happen. Takumi is surprised and asks her why exactly she did that, but she refuses to answer, saying that the time is up for today. She quickly says goodbye and asks him to bring her sweets next time. Takumi returns to reality, still not understanding what she meant. The scene then shifts to exactly 10 months after this moment to another place in the Sidonia Empire. We see Akira still completing his training seriously, and Yamato is standing with him, watching him with a look of underestimation and arrogance. Meanwhile, Akane is standing a bit further away, watching both of them, with clear worry on her face due to the change happening in them. Takumi returns to the mansion and gives Maria and Sophia the cloaks he made. They are the exact same design as his cloak, but Maria gets a red one and Sophia gets a green one instead of the blue one he wears. Takumi then tells them he decided to build a private carriage for them instead of having to rent one from the guild every time. He explains that he just needs to get a monster horse to pull the carriage. Maria tells him that in the Forest of Death outside Bolton City, they will find many monster animals, and they might even find a griffin monster. So they all decide to go to the forest to hunt a horse and try to tame it. Maple is the most excited one in the group. On their way inside the forest, a jungle wolf passes right in front of them, without noticing their presence at all. Takumi is amazed and says that these cloaks really work. If they can trick a wolf like this, then they are perfect. However, Sophia takes off her cloak without warning because she wants to train and fight instead of hiding. They continue their journey, and Sophia kills one of the animals in the forest, and they take its meat. They also find an amount of treant wood on their way and gather it. As for Maple, she starts getting annoyed by the slow pace of the trip and decides to walk ahead of the group alone. She gets a bit far from them and finds an injured dragon horse lying on the ground. As soon as she gets close, it attacks her. She remembers her first meeting with Takumi. Maple approaches the horse carefully and tries to make friends with it. Suddenly, giant monster ants attack them. Maple uses her power, and with the help of the horse, they manage to kill them. But they look around and find a huge swarm of ants attacking them. At this moment, Maple is forced to use her ability to create a large dome of her webs around herself, and the horse, to protect them from the attack, Maple stays inside the dome, feeling scared. The ants start attacking the dome and eating her webs. Maple gets very worried that Takumi and the others might not have noticed her absence and left her alone. She and the horse surrender to their expected fate, and she closes her eyes. Right when the ants manage to destroy the dome, Maple opens her eyes to find Takumi actually standing in front of her. He congratulates her on her bravery and strength, telling her he came immediately when he sensed something was wrong through his magic. Takumi goes to the horse and tries to use his magic to heal it, but the healing is rejected. He is shocked, because the horse is terrified and unconscious. Sophia informs them that there is an attack approaching them right now. Takumi decides that the fastest solution is to put Maple and the horse together inside his spatial storage dimension. But this action causes him terrible exhaustion and an unexpected massive magical effort. As soon as he finishes, he immediately faints and stays asleep for 12 whole hours without anyone being able to wake him up. Despite his coma, the storage dimension remains active and maintains it throughout his sleep. Maple stays inside, waiting for a signal from him as they agreed. Since he cannot talk to her, Sophia steps in and uses Takumi's remaining mana to communicate directly with Maple, explaining the situation to her and assuring her that Takumi is fine and will wake up soon. Maple decides to make another new web dome to keep the horse calm and reassured when it finally comes out of the storage dimension. At the same time, Maria takes the initiative and goes to gather medicinal herbs that might help the injured horse. After Takumi finally wakes up from his long sleep, he enters the dome Maple made to see the horse himself. He praises Maple for the good job she did taking care of it all this time. He uses a great healing spell on it, and this time he successfully heals it and completely tames it, giving it the name Camellia. The next day at the Mulan Slave Trading Company in the royal capital of the Barcola Kingdom, we see a little beastman girl with good magic talent. She is rejected by a merchant who came to buy her because she still needs a long time to master her skills. This girl's name is Riva. She apologizes to her current master, Burton, for failing to convince the merchant. Burton reassures her and is not upset with her. Reva sadly remembers her mother and little brother, whom she left in their poor village. She had decided to work as a slave so she could send them money every month. Meanwhile, Takumi is sitting in his workshop reading the exact same magic book as Riva without knowing her. The next day, he tells Maria and Sophia that he is going to Dojimbo's workshop again today to make equipment for his horse. Both of them are worried about him and tell him that he is not getting enough rest at all from his continuous work, but he ignores their words and goes alone. Before he arrives, he stops by the Adventurers Guild to register Camellia as his pet. There he learns that a strange creature was seen on the outskirts of the city scaring people. It turns out that this creature is Camellia along with Maple, because Takumi had taken them out of his storage dimension to move around. The guild master requests to meet with Takumi regarding this matter. At the same time, Sophia goes to meet Mulan, the manager of the slave trading company, to look for another slave to help Takumi with production. Mulan tells her she has no one with those specifications right now, but she will ask her contacts. Mulan notices that Sophia has changed a lot from before. Later, Sophia meets with Maria, and they talk about their desire to lighten Takumi's load in any way. Sophia offers to help with cooking, but Maria rejects this idea. She tells Sophia that her behavior has changed lately, and her features have become softer over time. But she still loves her old brave side. Sophia blushes and tells her let's hurry to catch up with Takumi. They actually find Takumi passed out from exhaustion at Dojambo's workshop. Dojambo warns them that Takumi needs a lot of rest for his health. They discover that Takumi used space expansion magic on the carriage he was building. It became like a complete house inside, featuring bedrooms, a kitchen, a bathroom, a living room, and a dining room. It is also protected against any shaking during travel. Maria drives the carriage herself, feeling very happy, as Camellia pulls it at a terrifying speed. After a few days of continuous pulling, Camellia's level goes up. Then they all continue their journey to the royal capital. On their way, they meet the Lion's Fang team members, Marquis Godwin, Bobik, and one of Godwin's assistants. They are all shocked when they see the inside of the carriage. They wish they had something like it, and offer him to make similar carriages for them, promising to buy them at the highest prices. They all continue on their way towards the capital. On the road, Godwin talks with his assistant about the necessity of protecting Takumi from anyone who targets him, whether inside or outside the Barcola Kingdom. He shows deep gratitude for everything Takumi has done for his territory. He warns his assistant about the Sidonia Empire, which might try to harm him. The scene then shifts to a few months after this moment. We see Akane sitting and reading a book from the Castle of Light. Akane stands up and looks at a collar tied around the neck of a nearby beastman, with clear signs of worry and disapproval on her face from what she is reading. We return to the present moment. Takumi and his group safely arrive at the royal capital, thanks to Sophia, Maria, Maple, and Camellia, who fended off all the monsters they met on the way. Bobik informs him that he is thinking of presenting a carriage similar to Takumi's to the king. This is to showcase Takumi's skills to the king in the best way and let him know the extent of his magical abilities. Takumi agrees to the idea. Bobik rents a workspace from Mulan's company itself, the same company where Riva is at night. Takumi sits with Maria and Sophia. They tell him he must look for someone to help him with production to ease his burden a bit. They suggest he looks for a slave specifically at Mulan's company. Takumi is happy with them and that they fear for him. He actually goes to meet Burton to ask him about slaves to help him with his production and alchemy. At the same time, Maria realizes she lost Maple, so Sophia goes to look for her. She enters the company's headquarters and finds Maple apologizing to Reva because she scared her with her appearance. Sophia helps Riva stand up and notices that Reva is a mage studying alchemy with obvious passion. Takumi runs into Sophia by chance, and he asks her to come with him to meet a candidate who might work for him. It turns out that this candidate is Riva. Riva stands there unable to speak out of fear, remembering the people before Takumi who used to mock her. Sophia steps in and helps start the conversation between them. Takumi asks her a question about magic. Reva cries because she thinks she answered wrong, but the truth is she answered correctly. Despite this, Takumi decides to take her as his slave. Riva agrees and asks him for only one thing, which is that her entire salary be sent to her family in the village. Takumi agrees to her request without any hesitation. He takes her to meet the rest of his team, who welcome her very warmly. Riva is happy because she became one of these people. Meanwhile, in the Sidonia Empire at this exact moment, they decide to use the followers of the Castle of Light to do something about Barcola Kingdom's stubbornness and refusal to hand over Takumi to them. Elizabeth comes and tells the king not to worry as they are about to summon the heroes. Within the coming months, they will help them achieve everything they desire. The next day, Takumi and Riva work together on the king's carriage that he is going to present to him. Takumi starts teaching her the basics of magic, being patient with her and encouraging her when she stumbles. Sophia is standing from afar, watching what is happening. As soon as Takumi finishes the carriage, he finds someone standing next to him asking about this carriage. Learning that he made it for the king, Takumi looks beside him and sees Babik running quickly toward this person. He finds out that this is King Lupus Barcola, who introduces himself very normally. Takumi is surprised by this, and the king tells him that he has no desire to meet him officially. The king thanks him for solving the sewage problem in the capital and apologizes that he cannot honor him with a noble title as he deserves, because this would draw the attention of the Sidonia Empire and the Castle of Light to him. Takumi feels very relieved when he senses that the king is also a humble and not arrogant person. He takes a reward from him and leaves. After he leaves, the king orders that Takumi's visit to the palace today must remain a complete secret to protect him. After that, Takumi decides to buy the mansion he was renting in the capital, making it his official home. Maria and Sophia try again to refuse taking salaries from him, telling him that their love and loyalty to him are enough reason to stay with him without any financial compensation. At the exact same time in Sidonia, it is revealed that they managed to sneak spies into the capital, Baculados, and steal one of the purification boards that Takumi made, which was used in the toilets. The leadership of Sidonia decides to move quickly against Takumi and send people to Bolton to kill the creator behind these inventions. We go back to Takumi, who is talking to Riva about registering herself in the Adventurers Guild. They go to the guild together, and the guild staff reminds them that the team still does not have an official name. Takumi says he is not convinced because the team is incomplete, and his goal is not to be a full-time adventurer anyway. However, the guild master Barak offers to train him personally to make him stronger and to help him think of a suitable name at the same time. Barak trains him very harshly and keeps rejecting every suggestion Takumi brings up for their team name. After the training ends, Takumi returns home exhausted. He asks everyone with him if they have any suggestions, but their suggestions turn out to be much worse than his. Sophia gets annoyed by the way Barak treats Takumi, but Takumi calms her down, telling her that the training is actually useful and beneficial and his skills in leading teams have increased. The scene then shifts to Sidonia again, but this time 10 months after Takumi's current time. Yamato is training very seriously, and Akira and the rest of the attendees are impressed by his high level. Akane stays away from the rest of the heroes. She returns to her room and reads books from the Castle of Light, starting to fear what Sidonia and the castle want to do with her. Akira and Yamato, we return to Takumi, who is crafting weapons for Riva and Maple to use in their adventures. He crafts a magic staff for Riva out of mithril and the treant wood he got earlier. After that, he receives a 4-day escort quest from the Adventurers Guild, requested by Babik's company. His group convinces him to accept it, telling him he must also return with a name for the team. They then travel with one of Babik's employees heading to Kilbo's village. It turns out that Babik is going there to sell Takumi's purification devices to other allied countries. Takumi is very happy when he learns that Kilbo's is famous for milk and cheese, something he has not tasted since he left Japan. He also learns that the neighboring Samander kingdom grows rice, but importing it is difficult. He then makes them a soup using the milk and cheese he got and decides to buy large quantities of both to take back home with him. At night, Takumi says to himself that he feels very comfortable in this new world. He decides not to return to his old life again or think about it, and that these things were the only things that reminded him of his old world. He asks Sophia if she still misses her hometown. She tells him that the present makes her so happy that it doesn't let her think about the past, because of what Takumi did for her and the friends she has around her because of him. Maria, Reva, Maple, and Camellia say similar things with the same meaning. This makes Takumi very happy. And from these words, he comes up with a suitable team name, which is Wings. Everyone enthusiastically agrees to it after he connects it to what they just said. After they finish the quest they went for, and also successfully decide on their team name, they return to their home. As soon as they enter, they find it filled with paralyzing gas. Two masked men immediately grab Sophia and Maria, and one of them tries to attack Takumi. However, Maple quickly saves him, and Takumi manages to stand up and save the others. Takumi tells them that he and Maple have poison resistance magic, which is why the gas didn't affect them. Maple says she saw other enemies standing outside the mansion while she was coming back from the stable after dropping off Camellia. Sophia confirms that this attack has been planned for a while and is not just a random robbery. Takumi asks her to go report this to the Adventurers Guild right away. Barak quickly arrives at the scene, ties up the criminals, and takes them to the guild. He advises Takumi to report the incident to Lord Godwin himself, telling him that this kind of problem is the most dangerous thing anyone could fall into. The next day, Takumi goes to meet Godwin, who confirms to him that the people who attacked him were the Light Squad. This means that the Sidonia Empire has officially tried to kill him. This happened because the Castle of Light was making all its money from the sewage problems in the city, and when Takumi came and solved the problem, they lost all their money and sources of income. Takumi tells them that it is better for him to leave this place. But the king tells him no, the city is the safest place he can stay in. He orders the Knight Commander to intensify the guards and take very strict security measures around him. However, the rumor spreads quickly that there is a huge bounty on Takumi's head for anyone who can kill him. Hank at the Adventurers Guild tells Takumi that he must be careful all the time because greedy adventurers might come after him for this reward. At night, Takumi sits with his companions and tells them everything that happened, and that there is a possibility they will face more attacks in the coming period. Takumi apologizes to them because he is the reason, and he is very worried about everyone's safety. He is also concerned about relying on the Palace Knights to guard his mansion. He suggests making a magical device that prevents anyone not registered in it from even approaching their lands. Sophia suggests that they look for a fighter or a tank to join them and protect him on his adventures, and Takumi agrees. Sophia suggests they return to Milan again to search for this person, and then they all go to sleep. However, Takumi goes straight to work on the magical device, and Sophia notices him from her room at night. The next day, Sophia comes down and talks to Takumi and Riva, asking them to teach her how to use magic so she can help them with the work. Even though Sophia has no skill in magic, she provides real help with the work. After they finish the device, Takumi's mana control skill reaches its maximum limit, and it evolves into a new skill called spell control. He tells his group that if he levels up this skill further, he might be able to create a control core for a golem. This would give them strong guards capable of understanding complex commands. We go to the Sidonia Empire at the present time, where they receive the news of the failed attack on Takumi. Elizabeth's father, the ruler of Sidonia, is very upset that this squad was arrested. He suspects that someone transported them to the Barcola kingdom and sold them as slaves. Elizabeth suggests they leave the matter of Takumi and Barcola temporarily and focus on their own plans. At the same time, Homer, their loyal mage, enters and tells them that he managed to find a magic circle written in ancient ruins. He is confident that he can activate it and use it to summon the heroes for them. He estimates that it will take 3 months at most to gather enough mana for the summoning. We return to Takumi and Reva, who are working very hard trying to create the golem core. Takumi concludes that the solution is to level up his skill first. However, Maple suggests a new idea he had not noticed, which is taming a wild golem instead of making one from scratch. Sophia tells him that stone and iron golems can be found in different areas and in the dungeon as well. Takumi is surprised because it is his first time knowing these things. He tries to hide his ignorance on the matter and tells them they must go get an iron golem from the dungeon. But to do that, they need the fighter or tank they were looking for earlier, so they decide to look for a stone golem first instead. After a while, they find a wild one of the guardian type. They prepare to attack it, but Takumi stops them, saying he feels a connection between him and this golem and wants to test it. He approaches it alone and the golem proves his words by showing no hostility towards him. Takumi succeeds in taming it very easily without any fight and names it Titan. Titan asks him for a more flexible body, and then it shrinks so it can enter the city with them. Maple asks Takumi to make Titan able to speak, and he agrees. On the other hand, in Sidonia, but months after Takumi's time, Yamato and Akira have reached a massive level of power, to the point where they easily defeat everyone they train with. The next day, Takumi starts working on Titan's new body. Suddenly, he tells Maria, Sophia, and Reva that he intends to cancel all their contracts with him because of the danger he put them in. The three of them get very upset with him and ask who will protect him if they leave. He tells them that Titan will protect him, asking them to live together happily anywhere else. He says he will give them large amounts of money as compensation, and Reva's village will get extra money too. However, Maria completely rejects this idea and asks him why he always puts them before himself. He says it is because they are his most precious thing. Maria replies that if this is true, then he should ask them to face this challenge with him. Takumi starts crying, and Maria also cries hard. Sophia talks to him and makes him understand that those words were the harshest thing he could ever say to them. Takumi admits that he was scared for them, apologizes, and asks if he can take his words back, and they agree. After that, Takumi gives Titan his new body, which he made out of adamantite and mithril, and he is very happy with his power. We go back to the past, 1 year ago, in a completely abandoned village. There's a rabbit beast-man woman named Manny standing sadly at her husband's grave. The villagers call out to her, telling her they are leaving. We learn that the corrupt nobles who were responsible for this village are the same ones who destroyed its economy, told the people to abandon it, and then fled to a neighboring country. Mani's husband died because of the harsh and unfair treatment from these nobles. We go to Godwin 1 year after this event. He is dealing with requests from a subordinate noble, the one who had taken in Manny and the rest of the villagers into his lands. He asks Godwin to find them a permanent place to settle down. The only available place for them is an area with many monsters, so Godwin decides to rely on Takumi for this matter. At the same time, Takumi and his group are preparing to raid the second hardest rank dungeon. After a while, they manage to kill all the monsters there and they finally reach the boss room. They are happy because they got through all of this without taking much damage. However, they are surprised by an earth dragon of rank S. They find it very difficult to attack it at first, but they manage to make some progress against it. But the dragon responds with a powerful roar and temporarily takes Titan out of the battle. Takumi thinks quickly to save the situation, and he finds a golden opportunity that if used will lead to victory. They indeed unite together and manage to defeat it. Then, a chest appears containing loot from the dragon's parts, and Takumi immediately starts thinking about how to use them in crafting. After that, they return home. Godwin summons him and asks for his help with the land full of dangerous monsters. He reminds him of the work Takumi did in Bordy Village, before telling him that the defenses and housing he prepared for them proved to be very useful. But Sophia is very worried, because accepting a mission like this will draw the attention of the Sidonia Empire to him. Godwin admits this danger, but tells her he is forced to ask for his help. He then explains to them all the details of the Pioneer Village situation from a year ago, and how unfortunately they could not develop it because of the interference of corrupt nobles. Godwin says he wants them to settle in a new place as quickly as possible. Sophia tries to ask him for more details, but Takumi agrees right away. He says he cannot ignore people who lost their homes. Takumi remembers the days when the people of Bordy Village welcomed him a year ago, and he feels he must return the favor. Takumi and his group go to the location without the guard knights that were offered to them. They immediately start developing the land using the magic of Takumi and his group. They divide the work among themselves so the task can be finished quickly. After just 10 days, Takumi asks Sophia to go tell Godwin to move the villagers to the new place. Godwin is very surprised by this speed. Mani and the rest of the villagers arrive, but they are worried about the new place, feeling it will be hard to live there. But as soon as they arrive, they are amazed by the massive wall surrounding the village. Then Takumi appears and greets the knights escorting the villagers. The knights ask him for an explanation for what they are seeing, and Takumi begins explaining his choices for every building and every defensive element. The knight asks him how he managed to do all this in such a short time, as he sees he built a complete fortress, not just a village. But Takumi tells him the village still needs a lot of work and is not finished yet. While the villagers are celebrating the new place, Mani is sitting alone far away, feeling very sad and lonely. Sophia goes to her and asks how she is doing. Mani tells her that her husband died in their old village. Sophia offers her a different job other than farming and promises to talk to Takumi. She explains to her that he is her master and the one who built the village. After a while, Mani goes and meets Takumi. He offers her the job for the compensation she wants, but Mani rejects the offer because of what happened to her with the nobles before. She finds it impossible to trust nobles again, and she clearly tells him she is worried about the reasons for them being here, doubting that they will actually find happiness. The rest of the group tries to convince her of Takumi's kindness, but he tells them to drop the subject for now. After that, Mani thinks it is no longer suitable for her to stay in the village after saying those words to Takumi. She feels regret for speaking so sharply to him. She leaves the village outside the walls and suddenly finds herself surrounded by monsters. The villagers are surprised and think they will be used in the battle, but Takumi orders the village to be completely locked down so only his team will fight. Mani runs back to the walls right as the drawbridge is being raised, but she is shocked to find the door closed, unable to get inside. At the same time, Takumi realizes she has disappeared. He and his group go out right away to save her. Mani is surrounded by monsters and prepares to die, but Takumi arrives at the last moment and saves her. Mani thanks him for his help and notices that a monster injured Takumi's arm. Here Mani realizes that Takumi is completely different from all the nobles she has seen before. She asks him if she can still accept the job offer, and he and his group happily agree. On the other hand, Godwin is standing and discussing with one of his knights the true purpose of building this village. At the same time in the Sidonia Empire, they receive news that a new fortress has been built in the Dead Lands. The king immediately knows that Takumi is the reason for this. A girl reassures him that the summoning is complete and soon they will be able to kill Takumi. Meanwhile, Takumi is sitting with his group and suddenly they all feel a massive burst of magical energy. Takumi immediately realizes that the summoning is finished and the heroes are coming to kill him. On the other hand, Nolan is watching the Sidonia Empire and the summoning ritual that happened. She is also watching the heroes training, who reached rank A after just 3 months of training, and she assumes that Sidonia will make a move soon. After 3 months, Elizabeth tells the heroes that they will be introduced to the other countries. Akira and Yamato are very excited about the idea, but Akane actually has no interest, even though she pretends to be excited like them. At the same time, in the new village, the villagers start learning different crafts like farming and blacksmithing, and they are also building their houses themselves. Sophia is hunting monsters outside the walls with Maple and Titan. Suddenly, she finds a lizard called a jungle lizard and gets worried about it. She tells Takumi that the monsters are getting stronger. Even though she can still handle them, she is worried about the monsters getting stronger and new types appearing. She connects this to the mana fluctuation she felt after the summoning, and it turns out that this summoning happened 3 months ago from the current time. After that, a knight comes to Takumi and his group and informs them that the master of the Bolton Guild is asking them to return. He tells them that the heroes have appeared in Sidonia. Takumi's group is optimistic about this news and sees it as a possible positive thing, because they think these heroes will fix the state of the Sidonia Empire. But Takumi is suspicious because of the truth that only he and Nolan know. But at the same time, the heroes are getting ready to travel from Sidonia. Akane calls her maid to come with them, whose name is Lulu. However, Yamato is annoyed by her presence because she is just a useless maid, so Akira steps in and calms the situation down. In the Bolton Guild, Takumi learns that the summoned heroes have Japanese features. The receptionist tells them that these heroes are visiting the countries that have believers of the Castle of Barcola to pressure them indirectly. Takumi's team is assigned an escort mission for Bobik's company to the royal capital. After they return to the mansion, Mani asks Takumi to come with them because she doesn't like staying alone in the mansion. Takumi agrees and decides to register her in the Adventurers Guild. At the same time, Akira and Yamato are talking despicably about the travel conditions, and they wish they could take the elf slaves in Barcola with them. They reject what the person tells them that Barcola's laws forbid any slave from leaving the country. Akane feels with her vision skill that she is in the capital, and then she waits for the chance to reveal that she is against the Sidonia Empire. After Takumi and his group finish their business in the guild, suddenly the heroes enter and approach them, but they cannot recognize Takumi. When Yamato and Akira see Sophia and Mani, they like them because they are elves and they want to take them as their slaves. Takumi threatens them that he will not let them get close to his group. The two of them get angry and start attacking Takumi, but Takumi manages to break one of their swords and the other easily falls to the ground. After that, Akane goes to Takumi and apologizes for her friend's actions. Takumi forgives them, gets to know her, and tells her the place where he will be so they can talk comfortably. Later, Akane and Lulu try to trick the Sidonia forces around them and separate from them to meet Takumi. Sophia and her group help them with this. They all meet in the hotel where Takumi is staying. There, Takumi reveals that he is actually Japanese despite his different appearance, and he also reveals the truth of his presence in this world. Akane feels upset, and then she apologizes to Takumi for what the Empire did. She explains to him how Akira and Yamato changed to an abnormal degree because the Empire was putting dangerous chemicals in their food and drinks. But Akane was using purification magic on all the food and drink she took, while the other two focused only on swordsmanship, and they might have actually been poisoned through the food and drinks. Akane begs him to save her and Lulu. He asks her what their plan is if they leave for another country. Takumi notices the slave collar on Lulu's neck and removes it from her. Lulu misunderstands the situation and thinks that Akane is throwing her away or abandoning her, and she begs her to stay with her. But Akane explains that she wants her with her, but as a friend, not as a maid. Takumi suggests that they return to the mansion with him as soon as possible, and they all leave immediately. At this exact same time, many huge monsters appear in front of the village walls, and they get ready to completely destroy it. After they reach the mansion, Takumi says he intends to meet the king as soon as possible. He asks Riva to call his group, and he announces to them that he still intends to cancel their contracts with him, because he doesn't want to risk their lives as he will fight very dangerous battles. But Takumi explains to them that he was moved by what he saw from Akane and Lulu, and he wants all of them to stay around him as a family, not as hired slaves. Takumi actually cancels all their contracts with them, but suddenly, Takumi receives a message from the guild, summoning him because of the monster attack on the village. Right away, Takumi and Sophia meet one of the adventurer parties and the guild master. Takumi learns the current details of the village's situation. He is told that a third party will also join them. Its leader, Merelda, appears and introduces her party members. They greet each other, and immediately the three parties travel together towards the village. Akane and Lulu return to Takumi's mansion to stay away from danger, and Titan is left in charge of protecting them. We learn that Takumi gave Sophia a legendary sword, which he crafted from the parts of the dragon they killed in the dungeon. He also made a twin sword for himself. The three parties all travel in Takumi's carriage, discussing the dangers they might face on the road. As soon as they reach the village, they find the situation worse than they expected. Winged monsters are flying over the walls, and other monsters are climbing the walls from every side. They immediately start the attack. Takumi and Sophia's combined magic is very effective, and they succeed in killing all the monsters that made it inside the walls. After that, Takumi splits his team into two groups. One part stays to fight and guard the city, and the other part treats the injured civilians. However, they are shocked to see all the monsters suddenly retreating into the forest at the exact same time. Their movement is strangely coordinated, as if someone is leading them. Takumi links this to the summoning ritual that happened. He assumes that this ritual evolved some of the monsters, and maybe one of them in particular reached a stage where it can lead the rest with a plan and strategy. On the other side in the Sidonia Empire, they learn that huge monsters attack the new village. They see the monsters' victory as a golden opportunity for them, and they decide to prepare their army to wipe out the rest completely. Elizabeth suggests targeting Barcola's allies to prevent them from sending any help. Her father asks her how they will do that, so she suggests using Akira and Yamato for this mission. At the same time, Sophia is standing guard on the walls. Riva gets worried because Takumi distributed all the potions he had to the injured, which means his remaining potions are completely gone. Sophia goes to him and tells him he must keep some for himself, but he replies that he just has to make sure he doesn't get injured or drain his energy to the point of needing a potion. Later, the three parties prepare themselves for another battle. The monsters appear for an all-out attack, and everyone is surprised by the giant size of the monsters. The parties immediately start with massive and powerful magic spells, and then the warriors step in for close combat. Sophia rushes into the middle of the strong monsters all alone. Takumi yells at her because she advanced way too far, but suddenly the monsters retreat on their own. All of a sudden, a massive two-headed dragon appears. It hits Sophia with its tail, throwing her far away, and jumps on her to crush her. But Takumi intervenes just in time and saves her at the last moment. Sophia does not give up and tries to draw its attention away from the others. But unfortunately, the dragon manages to hit her with its energy. The team saves her from death at the last second. They all unite and attack the dragon together. Takumi immediately uses his weapon's power and manages to slice it in half. He then goes to Sophia to heal her and scolds her for her reckless action, telling her not to throw her life away like that. His words clearly touch her heart. He is then informed that the rest of the monsters have fled the area, but all of a sudden Takumi faints from exhaustion and fatigue. After a while, Takumi wakes up without any severe injuries. Sophia is very happy to see him alive. They return to Bolton a few days later, but at the same time, Akira and Yamato are shown mercilessly slaughtering the people of an innocent village, claiming to be heroes. We go back to Takumi and his group again. They are at a celebration party for their victory, but Sophia is depressed and sitting alone far away. The group encourages Takumi to go sit next to her. He apologizes to her for yelling at her in the battle, and she apologizes for her recklessness. A few days later, Takumi takes Akane and Lulu to Godwin. Godwin agrees to hide their presence from the world in Takumi's mansion. There, they learn about Akira and Yamato's recent massacre in a certain village. Akane blames herself for all of this and uses this feeling as fuel, determined to defeat the two of them the next time she meets them. After that, Takumi goes to meet Nolan. He asks her what exactly her plan for him is. She tells him that the whole matter is up to him. Takumi accepts this answer and explains to her that he will protect everything dear to him in this world, considering his new life to be his greatest treasure. He then gives her the sweets she asked for a long time ago. She says to herself that the destiny waiting for Takumi is very hard. She tells him that he is her hope, that she relies on him, and that she is sure he can indeed one day become the greatest alchemist of all time.